Good afternoon, guys, and welcome to the podcast. Today, I've got one of my favorite guests that I love talking to, picking brains and ideas coming from Serbia, is Robert Roos, and he is the founder of Mynth AI, which we're going to hear all about. And he establishes any token to any network, which is really interesting from a utility use case perspective. And I'm really happy to have him on to pick his brains. So, Robert, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to have a conversation.
Yeah. We were talking beforehand in the green room, I've always loved talking to gamers, developers, AI, blockchain, crypto as well. Talk about your journey, and I know you're a digital nomad, and talk about your journey. And I'm excited to dive into the conversation.
Yeah, sure. So I've been involved in tech for quite a long time. I've been working predominantly with startups and small scale companies. So first got into entrepreneurship in a very early age and then started a few businesses around like university. I got with some friends and started an online company and kind of cycled through there, spent some time in the USA, founding a couple different companies, worked for a couple startups. And I got into crypto in 2013. Got into Bitcoin, and then I discovered Ethereum during the CryptoKitties craze. And that's really when I got hyper interested in what this technology can really do. It clicked in my mind of what the technology is capable of. And then I spent some time in data science and what we call pre-AI now. And for the last few years, I've been building protocols on blockchains. And currently, I am the founder of Mynth, and that is a cross-chain protocol. So my goal here is really just to bring interoperability and make blockchain and networks in general just one big happy ecosystem that can connect no matter where you are. So that's my background in a short summary.
Yeah, it's really fascinating because my colleague from college founded Coinbase, and I got into Bitcoin around near the same time in Ethereum. So it's really interesting. And, with you're in Europe, but I'm in the States, and it was just really a really uh, hostile anti-innovation and administration. And again, I'm no Trump fan, but at least he's pro-business and allows these ecosystems. So what do you say when people hear token, blockchain, crypto, big, and people are still thinking TX or Terra Luna, Celsius? How do you position yourself to address these types of negative stereotypes?
That's been like a problem for quite a long time. It's quite interesting because it's the same arguments back in 2013 as we are in like 2024 coming into 2025. And it's always the same things come up, like it's a scam and it's a pyramid scheme and you're going to lose all your money and Bitcoin's going to go to zero. And I first bought Bitcoin at $30. And back then, people were like, oh, this is a scam. Like, it's going to go to zero. And then it hit $100. And again, it's going to hit zero. And now we're at 100,000. And again, people are like, this is going to lose its value. It's becoming a more accepted, but there's still a lot of hesitancy. And I think a big problem is like people look at crypto as this like money-making vehicle rather than looking at crypto for the technology aspect. And when you look at it from a technology aspect, it's really like other technologies that we have, like the internet and just software in general, where we use this technology to build other products on top. And so that's really been my focus. My focus has been building things that people will use every single day and eliminating this concept of crypto, because this is where people get confused because they think crypto, oh, that's complicated. I don't understand it. It's like that's great because we're not building a crypto product. We are just using the blockchain technology to build product that you as an end user will use. Just as you don't need to understand how the internet works. You don't need to run your own wires and connect. You have an ISP, you pay a monthly bill, You get a computer, you get a phone, and then you connect to your favorite website. And that's really the way to think about it. And there's a lot of schemes, there's a lot of problems that we had to address within the crypto ecosystem, but slowly and surely we're getting through those. Regulations are getting a bit more friendly now. For a long time, the regulators were scared and they just wanted to shut down crypto. Now we're finally getting some more friendly administrations in various countries. So in the US and in Europe as well, even in Asia, we're getting some friendly legislation. So it becomes easier when now not as many people are fighting against us. And so now that people aren't fighting against us, we can actually start to build cool stuff. So that's really why I'm here. I just want to build things that people will use on a daily basis. And now that everyone's working with us instead of against us, we can help accelerate that progress.
Yeah, so well said. And again, this whole with the speculation and kind of the memes and basically the bad actors. That's but we are also in the early days of the internet, and so people that continue to hold on to this belief, are they just gonna miss out on this? Like it's people. I remember the internet; they were like scam, and then they missed out on Google and Facebook and Apple, and they missed out on cloud. Is the same thing gonna happen?
It really depends on what your goal is, right? So if you're coming up from this from an investment perspective, where your goal is to like make money and get in early, and you're not in crypto at this stage of the game, like absolutely you're going to miss out. Like that's just no brainer at this stage. You should have been investing, a while ago. But having said that, like it's like the stock market, right? Where it was better to get into the stock market 10 years ago, but the next best time is today. And there's going to be crashes, of course. Like it's best not to try and think about timing the market because you're never going to get that 100% right. But you should always have some sort of exposure. So if you're coming from investment, like you need to get in already, or you need to get in now. But if you're not coming from an investment, like, and it's just in user perspective, then we're not there yet. And I think we're not really going to get to the level where people are thinking where you have to understand all this tech because we're moving the blockchain industry in the same direction as like the smartphone industry. So I remember before smartphones, right, we had this PDA device. And you could have said, oh, like you need to get into this or you're going to miss out. That wasn't the case, right? Because these were terrible, absolutely terrible. Like you couldn't do anything with them. And it wasn't until the iPhone 3 where the introduction of an app came in and that just changed the game. And now a phone is just like second nature. And you just expected to have a phone and you can't really live without a phone. So that's where we're going to head. So if you're just like a regular person, I wouldn't worry too much about missing out because crypto is just going to become more ingrained into society and it's going to become like other pieces of technology. Like we all have laptops, we all have compute, we all have phones, we're beginning to have smart fridges, like we have microchips and just about everything now. And a lot of these devices are going to be connected to a blockchain of some sort because they have a lot of utility. And from that perspective, you're not going to miss out, right? Just wait for this technology to become easier. If you're really excited about this, like you and I are, then like get in now. This is a lot of fun. It's good to learn. You can be an early adopter. But otherwise, don't worry about it. So I see it as it depends on the type of person you are. If you're an investor, getting now. If you're like an innovator, this is a lot of fun. But if you're a regular person, don't worry. This is going to become so much easier in the years to come.
Yeah, and the way your approach is really very similar to what Brian Armstrong, when he's building Coinbase, they basically want to build products, just build products with the blockchain. The retail is going to speculate and this and that, but they just want to build great products that to facilitate faster transactions, just faster settlements, cheaper, less just grifters, and just less cumbersome and inefficiency. Which is really interesting, is there's so many avenues to talk about because there's financial empowerment and you talk about decentralization and stable coins. One thing I have to, because you mentioned you got into Bitcoin and Ethereum. What are your thoughts on, for example, Solana versus Ripple? I'm just curious.
So, this is why I got into building what I'm building, right? Because I try not to form opinions. I try not to care too much about these quabbles of the different L1s because each of these blockchains, they have advantages and they have disadvantages. And we need to get out of our minds that there's perfect blockchain out there because like they all have problems and they all have advantages. Solana is really good at speed. And then it has a few problems when it comes to reliability and security. And so if you want security, then I would opt for Bitcoin or Cardano. And then Ethereum has like a lot of decentralization, has a lot of established dApps. But the layer one is quite cumbersome and it's quite expensive to use. And so people then move on to the layer twos. But the layer twos aren't decentralized, right? So you're giving up some control and then you have this fragmentation problem. That's the way I view it in that it can be fun to compare and go into these little mini fights about, no, Solana is better than Ethereum. Okay, cool. But that's missing that these technologies are all aiming for the same end goal to bring real users to real products and make their lives easier. And then with what I'm building, Mynth, we make it so interoperable that you don't even have to care about which network you're on. So if you want to be on Ripple, but then you want to do something on Solana, you have that opportunity because you'll be able to go between those without any effort. So that's how I view it. I want us to move towards a world where these technologies are living in harmony with each other. And we're going to be using all of them. It's not going to be a one winner takes all. It's going to be a few major players that are very popular, and we're going to have this interoperability layer that is running on top that connects everything so that from a user's perspective, you're not even going to think, right? So like my end vision for Mynth is you have an app and you have a balance and I have this much money in my app. And then you don't even think, is this Solana? Is this Cardano? Is this Ripple? You don't care, right? Why would you care? As an end user, let the developers and the technical people care about the technicalities, and then you just have a balance, right? It's then we're just like abstracting it so that we find like the best route, the best security, best decentralization. So we try and give you the best product offering that we can.
Uh-huh. And so where is Mynth AI is in all of this? Is it partnering with like Binance or Coinbase and where is it in terms of funding? Is it still like bootstrapped or is it angel or seed? Talk about that.
Yeah. So the way to think of Mynth is that it's more of a competitor to the centralized exchanges like Coinbase and Binance, where it's the same type of concept where you as a user want to have a way to move or swap around your different tokens to the different networks. So like Binance is really great if you want to send USDC to your Binance account. Say you have your USDC on Polygon and then you want to have USD on Solana, you can't really send it to Binance and then withdraw it on Solana. Mint cuts that out where you don't have to send it to anyone. It's just a technology that exists on top of these existing blockchains. And then you do a swap. And this swap takes a couple of seconds and you go from Polygon to Solana. So that is Mynth. So that's what we have built and that's what we have live on mainnet. Where we're at as a project is we're in this like seed stage where it's be predominantly the founders that have like myself and the other founders who have put up the capital to bootstrap this. And in January, we're doing our first IDO, which is our first fundraising event to get liquidity into the system. Right now, we have 9 integrations into various blockchains. And by the end of 2025, we're going to have 25 blockchain integrations. So that's the speed of what we're developing. We've been building this for 2 years now, and we have the foundation in place. And now we just want to come into 2025 really strong, raise some money, and make this as interoperable as possible.
Interesting. And where is Mynth AI in terms of a valuation? Is there a particular, or is it still just early startup?
So yeah, we're early startup. The valuation for the IDO is 10 million fully diluted. And the token was distributed in 2023 via airdrop. And so the community decided on that valuation. So we never, as a team, we never set any valuation. We just left it up to the market. And then the IDO is the set price, which was just the average of what is been trading over the past year. So it's going to market at a $10 million valuation. And after that, we'll see what the market decides. Like my goal has really been to like not put projections into people's minds. Like I never wanted to set a price or just letting them, I'm just building the technology. I'm giving you guys opportunity to buy the token. And then it's up to everyone else to decide where that goes. Maybe it goes high, maybe it goes lower. In the end, which what I'm building is something that will produce revenue, and I'm hoping that revenue will continue to grow over time. And as a token holder, you'll have a share of that revenue. And then speculators will speculate on what that future revenue will be valued at to purchase the token off the markets.
Yeah. How can people find you and follow you and reach out to you and check out Mynth AI?
Yeah, the best way is just to type in Mynth.ai into your web browser and go to the website. We also have the Twitter, so that's probably the best information or best source of information for everything Mynth related. So you can just search for Mynth. So that's MYNTH. And also, if you go to our website, you can see our Discord invite link, and that's where you'll be able to come in and ask questions and connect with the team. And we're pretty friendly, so you can ask whatever you want, and that's the best place to learn some of the more technical details if you want to ask a team member.
Yeah. And thanks so much for coming on and keep up the great work.
Yeah, thank you for having me, being a good conversation.